We are going to get started on our Chapter 5 packet. This one focuses on graphs and really the equations that we're dealing with, whether in slope-intercept form, and then you'll find out new types of equations like point-slope form. But before we get started on PSF, let's do y equals mx plus b, which is our slope-intercept form. In order to find the equation of the line, you always want to identify the b, which is the y-intercept, and find the slope. You can calculate the slope, but since you have a graph, just count it. The equation for the first graph is going to be y equals negative 1/4 plus 3. Go ahead and solve the second one. See if you can beat me. If not, pause it, solve it, and then check your answer as this video goes on. You will see that that y-intercept is 1. The slope is 4. It's technically 4 over 1, but simplified form it's 4. So our equation is y equals 4x plus 1. All right, let's get into point-slope form right below it. So you can see that it's point-slope form, PSF. It tells you that there's going to be a point that is going to be used, and you're also going to use the slope. So these are types of questions you want to ask yourself. Maybe write them on the side. What do I have? What form can I put it in? That's kind of going to be the two major key questions that you're going to be focusing on. So look at the formula. The formula for point-slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. The m is not distributed inside, it's outside. If you don't have the m, meaning your slope from the graph, you can calculate it from 2 points. And then the 1 point you're using is being used in the formula. I know it's a little confusing now until we practice it. But another note I want you to make is that the original format of this equation uses subtraction. If you notice, it's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. It's going to be super important for when we get a coordinate point that has a negative sign or a coordinate point that has a positive sign. So you're going to see why. Let's go to the bottom of this page. Given the slope and the point, meaning they're telling you, hey, we're giving you the slope, we're giving the point. Okay, so I have a slope and a point. I have a point and a slope. Awesome. I can put this into PSF. My slope is negative 2/3. Okay, so I need to put that and substitute it into where in the equation it would be. All right, so our slope is negative 2/3. We are going to write negative 2/3 where the slope would be in the formula. This example already has it set out for you, but we're going to get practice without this already there, right? Let's just get used to substituting it. So we have negative 2/3 in for the slope. Then our coordinate point is 5, negative 2. So 5 is our x coordinate. Negative 2 is our y coordinate. So negative 2 goes in the front and 5 is the bottom. Then it's asking you to simplify. Just simplify the operations, right? You're not distributing that negative 2/3 into the parentheses. No, then you change the format of it. Then it's not in PSF. So take a look at my final answer. Y plus 2 equals negative 2/3 x minus 5. Go ahead and see if you could try the next one. If you need to, pause the video. If you want to see if you could beat me to my answer, I'm going to take my time before I actually get to the final answer. But again, remember, you need to simplify. You don't want to keep negative next to each other. This way, your final answer is y minus 1 equals negative 1/5 times x plus 3. If that negative sign from your slope is in the denominator or if it's next to the fraction, that's okay. Remember, if that negative sign is put in a different location of the slope, it's okay. You're just writing the fraction in a different way. Remember your rules. Let's go to the next page. This time we're given the graph of a line. Indicate and locate the point, the coordinate point you're going to use. Use the one that's not on the y-axis. Don't use the y-intercept. And then identify your slope. Okay, so my slope is m equals 1/4. My point is 4, 2. Substitute it in. See if you can do the next graph before I do it. Beat me, pause the video, whatever you have to do. When I go to substitute this information into it, I can use my graph. If you could see, I'm actually writing out, hey, I rise 5, I run 4. It's rise over run, my slope is 5/4. Do that if you have to. Use all the information that you have and turn into knowledge. Use it all. My final answer for this graph is y minus 4 equals 5/4 times x minus 4. The last way we're going to be dealing with point-slope form is when you're just given the equation and you have to dissect it from there. So if it helps you, write this equation on your paper, wherever you need to, until you memorize it, right? Write it 100 times on a chalkboard. Maybe you don't have a chalkboard. Take a piece of paper, write it 100 times. So at the bottom of this page, to finish this off, you're given an equation. Identify the slope and the point first. My slope is 1/3. My point, I'm going to highlight my numbers. If you notice, I'm including the positive of the 3 because it's a -3 comma +5 as my point. Because the original format of the formula is subtraction. All of a sudden it's +3? Okay, hold on. Original formula is negative. Now I have to make sure my coordinate point is negative because it's +3 in this equation. I plot that point. I know we can't see it in yellow, so I'm just going to make it blue for now. I'm trying to color coordinate for you guys. But now that we have our point there, we see that our slope is 1, 3. So start at -3, 5. Start at that point, count up 1 over 3. Or count down 1 to the left 3. Because you know slope equals 1 over 3, positive, positive, equals -1 over -3. You can go in either direction. Then draw your line connecting the points. I'm trying to draw as straight as possible. It's super difficult when you're doing this because my hand-eye coordination is not the best. Go ahead and try the second part. Remember, the original formula is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Don't let that negative sign in front of the parentheses fool you, saying that it's a -1 as a slope. Do not write -1 over 1. You could write it off to the side if you want to. You could actually absolutely do that and identify it that way so you know it's rise over run. Some of you might find it useful that way. Some of you might not. It's totally up to you. When you go to identify this point, it's 4, -2. So now using that information, you're totally going to be able to graph this information on there, right? Graph your point, graph a couple of other points using the slope, and then draw your line. You're going to have an assignment for the lesson, but before you do that, I just want to go over some key terms. On the next page, you're going to see the words through. -4, -1, slope equals 1. That's fine. The word through is just saying, hey, the line that you're trying to find, the equational line you're trying to find, this is the point that it goes through. Awesome. Now I have a point and I have a slope. I wonder what format I can put that into. Point, slope. Point, slope form. Do you see how what you have tells you exactly what kind of format you can put it in? So my answer for this one would be y plus 1 equals x plus 4. Good luck with today's lesson.